Hi Stampers, this is Trevis. Today is Fun Fold Friday. And so what I'm doing today is I'm making a tri-fold card and I'm using some of my favorite product in the annual catalog. Okay, I know the celebration catalog is crazy right now. Everybody wants free stuff. And you can still get free stuff, okay? If you order anything out of the annual catalog or the mini catalog, adding up to $50 increments, $100 for some things, you can get celebration items. So I'm using Plentiful Plants bundle today, and I'm going to be making a tri-fold card. Okay, so this is a photopolymer set, 15 stamps in it. It has the matching dies, the coordinating dies. I'm also going to be using another set of dies that have been around a while, and these are Tasteful Labels. Okay, so I'm going to be using one die out of that die package. Okay, so let's get started today. It might be a lengthy video, so I'm actually leaving for a scrapbooking event shortly for the weekend. I'm going to be on a 3-day scrapbooking event with some friends, and I'm excited about that. But I wanted to get this video out to you today, so let's get started. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is cut a piece of basic white cardstock. Now this is 12 by 12 cardstock, and we do still sell that. Some people are questioning that. Do you still have, I know we don't carry a lot of scrapbooking products anymore, but we still have the 12 by 12 cardstock, and it's sold on page 136. At the top, there's vanilla and white. So you want to cut 5 1/4 by 12, and you want to score it at 4 inches, which I have done. Okay, so we're going to fold on that 4-inch score. Okay, and then I did not score another line. All I'm going to do is bring this piece up to the center of that score. Okay, this way your tri-fold will always work out perfectly. Sometimes if you score it ahead of time, the second score, it bunches up here at the fold. I don't know if that makes sense, but anyway. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is we do want to bring in our cut and emboss, and we are going to make we're going to cut one thing out, and then we're going to emboss one of the new embossing folders called Time Worn Type, and that is from the mini catalog. So the first thing you want to do is get your platform, number 1. Then you want to put number 2. I love that these are all numbered for us. And then I always have number 3. I mark that bottom, so I keep that on the bottom. And I am going to put my cardstock in now. I'm going to use that die I just showed you. If I can find it. There it is. And I'm going to try to center that side to side a little higher than center from top to bottom. That makes sense, because I'm going to put a greeting at the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to run this through. So now you put plate 2 on. I'm sorry, plate 3, the top, plate 3. And you run that through. And what you get is, you get your cardstock, and then you get that extra piece. And you don't want to get rid of that because we're going to use that later. So that is an extra piece of cardstock. Okay, and now I am going to emboss, so I want to keep my plate 1, but now I don't need anything else other than the number 4 plate, okay, because I'm going to emboss with Time Worn Type. So this is an awesome new embossing folder, and I am going to put that in like this so that just part of my cardstock gets embossed. And then I'm going to put plate 4 on and run this through. So this is a 3D folder, and that's why you just need the gray plate 4. Okay, so now we are done with the cut and emboss. So we're going to move that out of the screen. Move our acrylic plate. Okay, so now you can see that this is embossed. Okay, it kind of slipped. It's not perfect, but that's okay. I think it'll be fine. Okay, so ideally, the whole thing would have been embossed, but I think we're going to go with it. Okay, so now we're going to we're going to make our greeting. As I said, we are going to have a greeting on here, and it's going to say from the stamp set, I have a lot of product here, so I hope I don't confuse you, to a dear friend. To a dear friend. So I'm going to stamp that in cinnamon cider. And cinnamon cider is an in color. So I have this mounted on a block. I have a little piece of white cardstock. So I'm going to stamp this right here, to a dear friend. Okay. And I'm just going to take my scissors and I'm going to fishtail that. Okay. We're done with that. Now I have a little bit wider piece of, this is 3/4 inch cinnamon cider. And so what I want to do now is adhere it to that. I want to give this a border. So I'm just going to adhere this to this. And I'm just going to fishtail this also. Okay. Then I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back. And you have these ones on the edge. Don't throw them away. Cut them up and use them. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to adhere this if I get the backs off. Ugh, why are the backs not coming off? There. Because I'm not using my fingernail. Very good. Wow. Okay. There we go. And then I am going to put my greeting right here at the top, to a dear friend. Okay, now comes the fun part. We're going to decorate the inside. And since this is a trifold, we're going to decorate this page and this inside sheet. So let's get started with that. I'm going to use Bloom Where You Were Planted Designer Series paper. And this is the, so cute on the back too. But this is kind of the, I guess it's a brick. Kind of looks like an outdoor brick to me. So I'm just going to attach this. I'm going to give this a little border. Attach this to a piece of cinnamon cider. So this is 4 by 3, and the cinnamon cider is 4 1/4 by 3 1/4. So it gives it a nice border. Okay, have that ready. Now let's do some stamping with our stamps. And the stamps that we want to use today are all of these plant stamps, which I love. And I'm going to use 3 different colors. I'm going to use cinnamon cider. I'm going to use basic gray. When was the last time you used basic gray? Wow, I can't even remember. And then I'm going to use just jade. So as you know, our designer series paper tells us what colors go well with the paper, which is cool because, right, we want it to coordinate. So I'm going to stamp this image in just jade. I'm going to stamp this pot in basic gray. I'm going to stamp this pot, the clay pot, which happens to be my favorite pot. I love it. So can you see how it shades for you? Ugh, so stinking cute. And then I think these are some kind of succulents, or I'm not sure. But anyway, I'm going to stamp that also in just jade. Okay, so I have all 4 images stamped, and now I'm going to cut them out. And to save time, I went ahead and cut these out ahead of time with the cut and emboss. Okay, in addition to that, I also use the dies. So we have dies for all of these. I also use the dies to cut out these 2 images. So this is the hanging basket. I cut that out of basic gray cardstock. And this is also a succulent in that I cut out of just jade cardstock. So we're ready to go to assemble our card. I'm going to close these pads now so I don't put my hands in them. So I should tell you, when you close your pads, hear that click? That's what you want to hear. That make sure that your pads are closed all the way and will not dry out. All right. Okay, so I have a little piece of the Bloom Where You're Planted brick, and I want to adhere this to the inside of my card. And the reason is because, actually I'm going to glue this in. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to use my adhesive, and I'm going to put this on the inside of my card, center it. And now I want to make like a little shelf. Oh, sticking, very sticky. I'm going to put this little shelf in here. So now I have like a little brick shelf. Okay. And now I get to put my card together. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to put a little adhesive on the back. And I'm going to adhere this to it. And then I'm going to put a couple dimensionals on the back of that. So that's going to be popped up. Okay, and then with this one, I'm going to put a little adhesive on the clay pot. But with this one, I'm going to put two plants in it. I'm going to put this one in, and then I'm also going to put this one in. And I'm going to kind of make this like a little bit of a hanging out plant. I don't know if that makes sense. Okay. But I'm not going to pop that one up. I'm actually going to put that inside of our hanging macrame. All right, so I'm just going to put a little, I'm going to bring my silicone pad in because I'm going to use some glue. I'm just going to put little dots of glue on here, like that. And now I am going to adhere that to my pot. Okay. So if you have a little overage, like this little pot here is kind of sticking over, you can trim that away if you don't want that to show. Actually, yeah, maybe a little bit. Okay, just going to trim that away. And then I am going to put some adhesive on here. Put a little bit more glue. I hope I'm in screen. Put a little bit more glue on here. And I'm going to make our pot hang. Okay, so our pot is hanging, and our other pot with the succulent in it is sitting on the shelf. So now can you see it? You can see it through, but you also open it and see even better, more. Okay, so looking good. The other thing I want to do is decorate the inside. And now I'm going to use these awesome, if you turn to page 141 in your catalog, I'm going to use the awesome, it's called Paper Lattice. Okay, bring this back in. The only thing that would make these better is if they were adhesive, backed adhesive. I would love that. It's hard to tell which side's the front and which side's the back. But since they aren't, I'm just going to put a little glue on every one of these little tiny spots. And this will keep it adhered nicely. So this card we made at my August Stamp Clubs. And I'm happy to say that everybody loved it, and I think it's probably one of our favorite projects. Okay, I'm going to adhere that down. Okay, and while that's drying, I'm going to take this piece that we cut out, and I'm going to stamp a greeting inside of it. I'm going to use Just Jade. Let's see. Yes, I'm going to use Thank You. So this is also a stamp from the set. Thank you. It's just wide enough, so that's perfect. Okay. Ooh. Oh, I touched ink. Okay. It's okay. Hate it when that happens, but, and then I think it needs just a little bit of, maybe I can cover up my boo-boo, a little bit of something inside. So I'm going to stamp that, and then I'm going to use, and I also love this stamp. So this stamp is from the set also. And I'm going to stamp this off once. Oh, I'm glad I checked. That's the wrong color. Woo! Yay, I'm glad I checked. Okay, I'm not going to use that stamp because I don't have a way to clean it. I'm going to use this stamp. It's always good to check and make sure you're using the right color. Okay, so I stamped it off once so it's a little bit lighter. Okay, now I am going to adhere this. I'm not going to use any dimensionals or anything. I'm just going to adhere this to the inside of the card. And then I think it just needs one embellishment. And again, on page 141, there are the really cute bumblebee trinkets. And I'm going to adhere one with a mini glue dot. So these are gold. And they are so cute. Bumblebees. And I'm going to adhere that right here. So it's kind of peeking through also. When you open it, you really get the surprise. And then the thank you, you can sign over here, you can sign here, whatever, wherever you want it. Okay, now I think it just needs one more layer. And so this ends up being 5 1/4 by 4, right? Because we scored it. So now I'm just going to layer this on a piece of cinnamon cider cardstock. And so this is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Okay. So that gives it the nice border. So there's our card today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a great weekend. And I will see you on Tuesday. Thanks so much. Bye.